Good morning and welcome to your daily morning horoscope for Wednesday, 29th of October 2025, Aries. The next task on your road to success may be a pill that's hard to swallow. Perhaps it involves interacting with people that you don't want to deal with. You know that you have to adopt some set of false persona in order to get what you want. You're sensitive to this dilemma and you may feel emotional about it, making you hesitate to go through this plan. But please, hold on. Taurus, debilitating indecision may plague you. You've been coasting along, letting your good luck see you through the prosperity. It's like you're tied to rope and constantly testing the limits. Unfortunately, you could hit a snag and feel like you can go further. Emotional issues suggest that you didn't take your feelings into account. It's time to reevaluate your approach. Gemini, you may feel like you're doing all the work in a project or a relationship, and if you pull out for even a minute, the whole thing will fall apart. Be careful of putting so great of a burden on yourself that you grow resentful to anyone. You're good at criticizing other people's actions, but maybe the person you need to talk to about these issues is you. Cancer. It's important to remain flexible, but not so much that you can't make a decision without anything. Your head says one thing while your heart says another. When you give both of them free rein in an effort to be flexible, the possibility of opposite directions can come up. Postpone making an important decision until your path becomes clearer. Leo, you feel emotionally strong. Even though certain people may be getting in the way of your plans, you can accomplish a great deal and you're only possible if for yourself. You feel a drive to work harder than usual. Even though you may be working very hard, your general mindset is good. You should enjoy your day regardless of these circumstances. Virgo, you may feel like there's a big opportunity waiting for you, but your head is too muddled to take advantage of it. Perhaps you're afraid of what it is, and if you accept this offer now, you'll miss an even better one later. Don't delay, change is progress. Go after the things that catch your eye and draw you in. These opportunities won't last forever, so please stop dreaming and start chasing. Libra, your sensitive nature is attractive. People who come to you for advice and guidance aren't disappointed. You have a solid, practical perspective, yet you're also receptive and understanding. People with flashy ideas and a reckless way about them might try to sell you a pig in a poke. Don't be thrown off. Stay strong within yourself and confident about what you believe in. Scorpio, you may feel like you're riding a fast train to success. Success can be measured in different ways. Today, it's important that you consider your emotional success and how your feelings fit into your life. You may discover that the train you're on isn't the train you should be on. Don't be afraid to get off at the next stop and transfer your direction so you'll be on the right track. Sagittarius, you may feel like a snail emerging from its shell. When no one is looking, you slowly put your head up and poke out your antenna. And because of this, be careful letting your defenses down too much, because a big hungry bird may be looking for its dinner. Capricorn, your boisterous, generous attitude is inspiring and welcomed by others. There are also some people who consider your behavior ostentatious or arrogant. You may wonder how this is possible since your intentions are good. You want people to share in the love and good times. You're attentive to others' feelings. Sit down and talk with people one-to-one to really understand how they feel. Aquarius, just as soon as you take success, something comes along to make you feel badly about it. Perhaps another person is jealous of you, and so does or says things that make you feel uncertain. Perhaps the doubt comes from an internal source that says that you don't deserve prosperity. Don't be thrown off by this cause. Move forward with your plans accordingly. Pisces, in order to maintain peace and harmony, you may wear many different masks. By doing this, you may forget your inner truth and what is truly to believe. Friction between your lively communicative outside and your soft insides could make it difficult for you to find a solution that you seek. You have the answers you need to trust yourself, and when you find them, you'll be glad that you did. This has been your daily morning horoscope for Wednesday, October 29th, 2025. Do have yourself a great and wonderful day.
Happy Wednesday, guys. How are you doing? Hope you're doing fine. Of course, we continue to keep the prayers up and on for our brothers and sisters over in Jamaica. We'll continue to monitor and see how it is that, when they need us, that we are ready to be there for them. But let's go on over to our news department and let's see what's happening there.
Good morning. Time now for the news. My name is Timothy Paul Leon. A landmark piece of legislation promised to reshape St. Lucia's energy future has been put on hold. The highly anticipated electricity bill was scheduled for a crucial vote on Tuesday, but the government has pulled it from the agenda for further consultations.
Notwithstanding the extensive process which started in the year 2013, comprising technical working meetings and consultations, this government has remained steadfast in its mission to fulfilling its commitment on renewable energy to the nation. I also indicated that due to last-minute submissions which were being received from certain sections of the general public, just ahead of my planned introduction of the bill for second reading, the government felt it necessary to delay the passage of the bill in an endeavor to help exhaust the appetite for further consultation.
Minister King reveals that recent consultations with the Chamber of Commerce and the Hospitality and Tourism Association were productive, leading to a new wave of recommendations. These include calls for clearer rules on consumer rights, competitive bidding for new energy projects, and provisions for electric vehicles. In a move aimed at revolutionizing regional travel, the government has proposed a 2-year VAT exemption on all aircraft and watercraft purchased for local and inter-island routes.
You see, Mr. Speaker, there's been a major issue with regional travel, with people coming from one island to the other. In fact, sometimes it is cheaper to fly to Miami than to fly to a country like St. Kitts. So, Mr. Speaker, the government thought it wise to remove the VAT on the purchase or the lease of an aircraft or watercraft to encourage, to incentivize entrepreneurs to get into that area of business. So we thought that removing the VAT would have served as an incentive, Mr. Speaker. And we know that the high cost of aircraft and the maintenance also of aircraft and watercraft. So by making it VAT exempt, we hope we can encourage entrepreneurs.
But while the goal of cheaper fares has been widely welcomed, the plan is facing immediate scrutiny over lack of detail, raising questions about its potential impact. The Caribbean is taking bold steps this week to reshape how global trade works for people and the planet. 2 major international workshops underway at the Harbour Club in Rodney Bay have brought together more than 70 regional and international experts, all focused on charting a greener, more inclusive path for the region's economic future under the Remaking Trade for a Sustainable Future project.
The trade system itself does not contribute to climate change, but of course trade, the use of transportation for export of goods or people for services, can contribute to climate change, and trade can intensify production in certain places that can contribute to climate change.
The first workshop focused on aligning trade and industrial strategies under the region's emerging CARICOM industrial policy and strategy. The policy and strategy is a framework recently endorsed by CARICOM ministers to strengthen 12 key industrial ecosystems, from agriculture and tourism to digitalization and renewable energy. We continue the broadcast at this time with news that growing reports of snake sightings across St. Lucia have prompted urgent community training sessions aimed at preventing potential venomous encounters.
We have served at least 70 participants, more than 70 participants. They range from doctors to teachers to fire officers, as well as community leaders and community citizens. So we want to ensure that whilst there are increased encounters, we want to ensure that the community is equipped with the knowledge in order to protect themselves and their loved ones.
The initiative, led by the Strengthening Access and Benefit Sharing Project in partnership with the Department of Sustainable Development and the Forestry Division, wrapped up this week, reinforcing national preparedness and advancing venom research efforts. That's the news. Thank you so much for watching and listening. Join us at noon for our next news major, the Lunchtime Report. I'm Timothy Polio. Good morning.
Thank you, Newsroom. Let's take a break. We'll be back. This young lady caught our attention. The last time we were at some event, we were covering something, and this lovely little employee caught our attention. So you know what? We wanted to find out a little bit more about her being in the industry, and what it is like. She's a butler, Christal Cadette is the name. We caught up with Christal here over at the Sandals team building. Well, what they call it again? The Sandals?
The health
The
fair.
health fair. Right. Christal has taken all of the tests already, including the HIV. She have no reserve. Christal put herself out there and she's taken all the tests. Now, Christal, I want to know from you, from a standpoint, you were explaining yourself to me, so we understand. You're a butler here at Sandals. What is a normal day like for you?
A normal day depends. Again, is a relationship between your guests. So you have high maintenance guests and you have those that are just laid back and relaxed. Yeah. So yeah. So every day is not really a busy day. It just depends on how you plan your day.
Right. So you're a planner, and we appreciate that. Now, having an initiative like this on compound, right? Because sometimes you don't get to go to the health center and use a woman like to do your test. You just tell me that. So you don't get to do that. But having an initiative like that brought right to you at the workplace, how crucial is this for you?
To be quite honest, it is actually a good gesture, especially for, like you said, we don't get the time out all the time. Some of us are single parents. Some of us, we have a lot on our plate. So it's a really good gesture to have, these things come to us and we don't have to go to them. And also, Sandals added that little section right there where you get a chance to say what's on your mind by writing your affirmations and everything. So it makes it kind of, adds a twist to everything.
Oh, so you have a few things on your chest here where you go put in that there because it's anonymous. They don't know who's sending it.
Nobody knows.
I like that. I'm going to ask you what you address, but certainly. I mean, I want to go a little bit further with you in terms of, the hotel industry is quite a vibrant one, and a lot of our parents who work within that thing. What is it like being a parent?
Yes.
What is it like being a parent and having to juggle parents, being a mom and, working within the sector? Because we hear all kinds of things. I want to hear from you personally.
Working in the sector and having kids, for me, I've learned to, give it a balance of a 50-50. So you balance your work life and your personal life. Right. And then everything should be okay.
Right. And then when you have Sandals putting together things like that, where you don't have to worry to get up and run outside to go and get it. You're good. You're basically good.
They have your insurance, everything is covered. So, in case the kids fall sick, you have things in place for them. Right. Everything is, organized to the T.
Yes, they have you. Christal, I'm coming back for the result. Feel you get away. And this young lady right here is an ambassador, a St. Lucian ambassador. She's an ambassador for a lot of different companies. She's just a wonderful lady of inspiration within the arts. But then again, she probably didn't really have a choice. That was instilled in her. That was in her veins, her blood. She's part of the St. Omers. So here's Natanni. We had the awesome opportunity of connecting with her. Been wanting to connect with this young lady here for the longest while. She's, her presence, you can't ignore. She's there. She's got quite a number of ambassadorial positions here on the island, including Bounty and, of course, Lucia Carnival. Yes. But also out on the international stage, she's been representing herself. And, of course, in Lucia, because whenever we go, our people go out there, we ask where they're from, especially when they're doing well. And she's been modeling, aligned to an agency in Canada. She's done some modeling and some dance. Cambodia, you've been there. Yes, England. Come on, girl, talk to me nice. And quite young as well, part of the St. Omer family. But she's definitely carving out a niche for herself. Yes. And, the vitality and the importance of that is so can be so inspiring to young people. You
Yes.
know, the fact that some people might be feeling pressured because they come from a certain family and they have to toe a certain line. And but you definitely look like it was instilled in you to carve your own path, and you have been doing that. Still in the
course.
arts,
Oh, yes,
but you know,
always.
in your own way.
Yes.
Let's talk a little bit about what it is you're into, and you know what life has been to date for you.
Life has been exciting. Life has been exciting. There's never a dull moment. I get to do all the things that I love. I never limit myself, and being able to tap into all the different art forms like dance, photography, creative direction, and all the other things that I'm part of. Carnival. Oh, love me some carnival.
Right.
Right. I have had to be very dedicated. But I'm having a lot of fun. So the passion is really what drives me. And I would encourage anybody who has a passion to really just focus and remind yourself why you love what you do.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Now she's also a young. I'm going there with you. She's also young and a committed young, but she's married. You know, so she's not just balancing; she's actually balancing life. You know, at such a young age. You know,
Right.
being a wife,
Right.
being a motivated and driven creative who is exploring. Like you said, there's no limitation in what.
Right.
What is it like being a young person committed in a full-time committed relation, and being able to still chase your dream?
It's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. Honestly, God
Yeah.
keeps me centered and aligned with everything in my life, whether it's my partner, work, whatever it is I'm doing, friendships. I think it's key to really balance those relationships with the things that you really want for yourself. And that's what I've had to do. And God is really what gets me, really keeps me grounded and keeps everything connected.
Right. What is something that persons may not know? Maybe a challenge or maybe something about yourself, a misconception that people might have because they see you. I mean, we see her and we see the glamour, we see the beauty, we see all of that presence. And of course, social media is a thing now, and a lot of people
Right.
get on that space. They see one thing and they might internalize it and probably put pressure on their own self to want to be like or to be
Right.
not be like. What are some of the misconceptions that from people looking in from your platforms, and what are some of the misconceptions or things that you think people may not know?
I don't think people know that I prefer being behind the camera than in front of it. So this is nice, but I really enjoy being behind the scenes. So that's something that a lot of people don't realize. I think they think I like being in the spotlight, but it actually gives me anxiety. But I do it anyways because it's part of doing the things that I love, and I have to encompass everything that comes with it. So yeah, I think that's something people don't really know. And anxiety comes with that, you know, dealing with that and really pushing past my own internal battles to, wake up and show up every day.
Imposter syndrome.
Yes,
Sometimes.
of course,
You get that as
all of
well.
that.
Someone
all
would
of
never
that.
guess.
Yeah, no, well,
Some
yeah,
people.
yeah. I mean, if you're creative, you probably understand. Any creative really
Right.
goes through that. And it's difficult, but really believing in yourself and showing up as yourself every day, that's what matters.
Right. And that would be the take home. Believe in
Yes,
yourself.
of
Show up
course,
as
of
yourself.
course,
What
of
are some of the
course.
future plans? What are some of the things in the pipeline you're working on?
Yeah, well, I'm really focused on my photography right now. I'm really trying to use that to get to deeper in the fashion industry internationally. But also, I'm using it to connect with women and pour into women. As a female photographer, I feel like I can offer a safe space for women to really feel themselves and show up as themselves, and hopefully I leave them feeling even better than they came.
Oh,
Yeah.
this is wonderful. Now, how can we follow you? I know you have your own page where we
Yes.
can go and see your work.
Yes.
Where can we get that?
So my personal page is Natanni.Kaya, and my photography page is Captured by Kaya with a K.
There you go.
Yes.
So go follow her, guys. You need to support that. And we're grateful that you decided to, even whilst all of this is going on,
Yes.
still create a space where you can actually help people to feel confident.
Yes, of course. I love what I do. I love what I
And
do.
we love you. Don't we love her? We love her, St. Lucia.
Thank
What
you
about
so
dad wise? They're okay. They see where you go in. That is there for
Yes,
for
of course, of course, of course. I have a lot of support,
That's
especially with my
Giovanni's
family.
daughter, guys.
Yeah.
You didn't know. Yeah, I had to put it
Yes,
there.
yeah. He's very proud of me. My parents are very proud of me. My family is very proud, especially still being in the creative space. they're very happy that I'm doing what I love.
Absolutely.
Yeah, of
Well, we want to
course.
take the opportunity to say we see you
Thank
and
you.
wish you the best
Thank you
future
so
wise.
much.
And the modeling scene, you're all there, man. We see
Thank
her.
you so much.
Thanks, Natanni.
Welcome to your Holistic Path to Wellness with Dr. Tanya So many times I've been asked about why I went into functional and integrative medicine. And you may have heard that story before, but I'm going to share it again for those of you who haven't heard it. I burnt out in my late 30s, where I was working very hard, trying to balance being a wife, a mother, a doctor, a daughter, a friend. And I got sick and I didn't know what was wrong. My labs were normal, couldn't find anything, and I kept testing. But I knew something was off. And it would take me a few months of trying to figure it out on my own until I realized that I had what is the old term adrenal fatigue. Essentially, I had burnt out. And there was an element of shame involved because how could I, as a doctor, allow myself to burn out? And for years, I didn't talk about it because I felt that it showed weakness. But I feel that if we don't share authentically, we are depriving others of learning from our stories. So essentially what had happened is that my adrenal glands, which are the glands on top of my kidneys that are producing stress hormones, had been overworked from continuous stress. Our bodies are designed to sustain a little bit of stress and come back down. So we have a fight or flight where we go into sympathetic nervous system reaction to allow us to flee from a tiger or whatever the stressor is. We will either fight the tiger and win, or we will run away from the tiger, or we will freeze. And then we go back down into parasympathetic where we rest and digest and our bodies just go back into this nice state of relaxation. But with the sustained tigers in the form of work, emails, juggling everything, we just go on and on. We get into sympathetic overdrive. Our adrenal glands go into overwork. And eventually they just say, I've had enough. And they stop working optimally. And that's what happened. But I didn't know enough about it then to really understand what was going on. So I went for I did not know where to turn until I found functional medicine. I found a doctor who knew when I said something was not right with me, although my labs did not show anything abnormal, showed me a different perspective. That was a functional medicine doctor. And by working with her, because she too had burnt out, so she truly understood me, I actually felt validated. Because there were times when I thought, is this in my head? Am I lazy? Why can't I pull myself together? You know, you start to beat up on yourself because you think you should be doing better. You should be doing more. There's always this desire to be perfect. And I found in her a safe space, a space where I landed, where she allowed me to break apart, to fall apart, to open and tell her how I was feeling, how tired I was, the shame that I felt that I had allowed myself to burn out, that I should have been stronger, I should have been more powerful, I should have overcome this on my own. And she gave me a different perspective that it was beyond me, that I had tried, I had done my best, and I had to start to practice extreme self-care, self-compassion, and self-love to bring myself back to me again. At that point, I felt I had to learn more about it. So this journey through burnout into body joy and into more joy has come from my personal journey. And that is why I am so passionate about sharing this story, because if anybody is feeling tired all the time, anxious, unable to sleep, not feeling themselves, going through hormonal imbalances, or they're unable to lose weight, you're putting weight on your belly, you're bloated all the time, you have these headaches or joint pains, or your brain feels foggy, you feel lonely and disconnected, these are potentially signs of early or even late burnout. And if it's not picked up and treated properly, it can lead to, quite serious chronic disease. And I believe that a lot of the chronic disease that we're seeing now in younger and younger people has the root cause of some form of burnout that has taken place, sustained stress, sustained inflammatory states in our bodies, overwork, overwhelm is causing us to put on weight, it's causing us to be anxious all the time, to not feel like ourselves, feel like you've lost your spark or you've lost a part of yourself. All of these are actual words that people have said to me. And that's why through my journey, and I realized that I had lost my joy. And joy was the ultimate healing tool. So this is the birth of the More Joy method, with the 3 pillars: body joy, mind joy, soul joy, looking at how we connect to our power, looking at how we connect to the passions that we had when we were young and how we must go back to live those dreams, and also to our purpose, because I believe that every single one of us is born with a unique purpose. And that purpose needs to come out to serve the world in whatever way you can. Doesn't have to be in a big way, could be in a tiny way. But by utilizing this innate purpose that you have, you can start to heal your body and your life. So if anybody's feeling that they're not like themselves again, or you look in the mirror and you say, who is this person? Please don't suffer in silence. Please seek help. Find somebody who will listen to you, because had I not found that person at the time, that doctor, I probably would have gone on searching longer for a long time. I was very lucky that I landed in her space of functional and integrative medicine. And that is why I am so passionate about sharing this with as many people as possible, because we want to change how healthcare is delivered to people. This is a safe space. It's a haven. It's a space where you're allowed to fall apart, for us to hold you as we heal you. And I think this is what healthcare needs now. Safe havens, safe spaces, nurturing spaces where you truly feel that you are seen, you are heard, you are understood, and you are healed.
We've come to a wrap for our show for today. It's Wednesday. It's beautiful out here. But again, like I said, we're continuing to keep in our minds and our prayers, be aware of what is happening out there in our waters, right around us. Also, keep our prayers up for our Jamaican brothers and sisters. And as we close off, I want to leave you with this. Never laugh at your best friend's choices, because remember, you are one of them. Have a nice day.